Come on, guys, can we hurry this up? I still have to write my World Lit and EE papers. Balancing the life of a superhero and an IB student is kinda tough, you know.
Thy young mortals have much to learn about life. I find it charming that ye believe your problems are comparable to ruling the mighty Asgard.
Ugh, men, you know nothing about real issues that need to be solved. Try fighting the gender wage gap.
We're not even paying attention.
Would you all stop whining? I mean, my parents are dead, but I'm not whining about it.
That's because most of us have dead parents. A dramatic entrance for the glorious clown prince of crime. Yes, thank you. Hold the applause. I'll sign autographs later.
What are you doing here, Joker?
Well, it's supper time and I need to give these kids something to remember, don't I? Now, kids, make sure you eat your cyanide before bedtime and you'll have a nice sleep.
Loki, call off this assault, brother. You have innocence laid bare in the crossfires of this incursion.
This lame family drama is really pissing me off. I don't get why you two can't grab 2 bottles of hard cider, kick back, and settle things out.
Oh, hey Hugh Jackman. I see you're finally wearing the blue and yellow. I hope you get a hefty paycheck before you retire after your last movie. You know, before Bryan Singer's X-Force gets rebooted again. Or hopefully when Marvel takes over. Oh, and I think we need to explain to the audience that your name is Wolverine because you have sharp claws, not because you're as ugly and hairy as an actual Wolverine.
Deadpool, will you shut the up?
Language.
We need to concentrate on beating this shitty-looking bub. Hey, why am I being bleeped out?
Hey, there might be children watching this. Think that sucks for you? My whole movie was great because being rated R was the cool new thing in a superhero movie. You know, being a potty mouth is part of the reason why Jean Grey always chooses Cyclops over you when she needs help with story time with the pre-K mutants. I think we're keeping this production PG-13, not R. I'll have to talk to the executive producers about that. Leo should be around here somewhere.
Who? You know what? Forget it, Deadpool. You always act as if we're some puppets being pulled by strings.
Not puppets, but you're close.
Why don't you take off your mask when you walk into the X-Mansion, Wade? Oh yeah, because you look like someone threw up lasagna on your face.
Shots fired.
Guys, we need to focus. The target overwhelms us. They might endanger even more civilians in the area. So stop joking around and get serious about this.
Oh, Leo, there you are. I need to talk to you about the rating of this movie.
Alright guys, that's what we call teamwork and great superheroing. Now let's get in a group selfie or something. Kanye's new line of clothing won't have anything on me once I tweet this. Come on Hulk, we've been through this. You have to get in the background. You take up way too much space in the front.
So, where are we partying?
Your place, Bats? Well, shawarma it is.
Girl, you just don't realize what you do to me when you hold me in your arms so tight.
It should be me. Why? Because I have a load of pictures of all of us, but most importantly me, the most popular guy in the whole world, fighting enough to get the peeps in the Daily Bugle excited.
So you're telling me that nobody in the Bugle is suspicious, even in the slightest, that Peter Parker is always your Spider-Man all the time?
Bad continuity? Anyway, who could dispute that I'm the best when I have 1,000 solo comic issues, 3 dozen video games, 15 TV shows, and 5 blockbuster films?
Of course. You have the great Spider-Man video game, amazing great Japanese Spider-Man TV show, and Spider-Man 3.
No! And then FDR was like, "Whoa, Steve, you have quite the grip. I think you might be powerful enough to rip off Hitler's mustache." And I was totally like, "I already did that to Red Skull's entire face."
They never give the mutants any better discounts anywhere. Hashtag Mutant Lives Matter my hat.
Oh, stop pouting. I don't think there's any army veteran hats to cover that ugly hair of yours, Logan. Yikes!
So I was at this billionaire-only private meeting, right, where there was this huge alien tech for sale. And then I saw Lex Luthor and Norman Osborn there, and I was thinking, crap, I can't let these guys buy that tech. So I bought all of it.
No, you did not. I bought half of it, just like how I bought half the expenses to pay for this team and all of our equipment.
Yeah, you get no credit because you don't tell anyone that you're Batman. I did that, like, on the second day of my job.
Yeah, but you guys want to know who he always tells his secret identity to? Every single girl he's met. Hey, you guys want to know my secret? I'm Batman.
Shut up. At least I put on a cowl instead of some glasses to conceal my identity. What are you gonna say when someone says, "Why don't you just get contacts?" Besides, all it took is me stepping out of my jet and getting Lois to fall head over heels for me. As for Stark, didn't the Mandarin blow up your house after you told him you're a terrorist?
You're insane, Barry. There's no way a banana could trip me while I'm running.
You don't have the Speed Force to avoid that problem. So unless you want to go flying off and landing on your butt 100 miles away, watch where you run.
Whatever, but Superman would have beaten Goku 10 out of 10 times. Why? One word, Dragon Ball Evolution.
Ugh. Does this always happen? Everyone, shut up. Something's going down.
I know I've been out of the loop, trying to hunt down Sinestro and Loki and everything, but what's going on here?
Samaria and Bialia are two nations that are located in East Africa. Within that area lay an enormous underground reserve of a mysterious new metal called amalgam. Initially, the metal was thought to be almost useless, but recent tests have discovered that it can be as resilient as adamantium. Samaria began to mine the reserves with the promise that they would send some of the metal to Bialians. The promise never held up, and the Bialians struck and started the conflict.
Why haven't any UN peacekeeping force or any nation intervened in this turmoil?
Because they're too busy on recovering from Dr. Doom's attempted but failed infiltration into every government in the world.
Then why can't we find out which mustache-twirling villain is behind all of this and bust them?
That's the problem. There is none. Darkseid is still dead. Loki is working at a circus to make amends. Lex Luthor and Poison Ivy are too busy running for the US presidency under their disguises. This seems like a regular geopolitical crisis, not a superhero one. However, I think we should still...
Let me stop you right there. We can't act. Not yet, anyway. The UN is currently deciding whether or not we should be allowed to intervene.
By the time they come to a decision, it could be too late.
As for the countries of the world, interference is strictly prohibited. This dispute will remain between these two countries. Any questions?
This is bullshit.
Language, Captain. We've got to remember this is PG-13, folks. We're limiting the swear words to about 3 or 4 tops.
Everyone, shut up! There's more!
As for the countries of the world, interference is strictly prohibited. This dispute will remain between these two countries. Any questions?
We should absolutely put our efforts into ending this bloodshed and seeking a long-term peaceful resolution with the leaders of both nations, if no one else will do this. We can't just sit by and let this go on while innocent people die.
We can't get involved with this. First it starts with stopping wars, then what running countries the way that...
Says the man who tried to convince the world to get rid of all the nukes.
That's different, and you...
Is it? We've intervened multiple times in multiple events for similar outcomes. Why is this any different?
Okay, Batsy. Name one time.
Victor Von Doom, the dictator of Latveria, tried to conquer the earth numerous times.
Okay, first, I asked for one example, not several. Second, I thought you were against intervening.
Are you really going to argue with two of the smartest men on the planet?
Yes, actually. Our job is to help protect man's world from threats they cannot go up against on their own, and not prevent them from acting according to their nature.
That is the single dumbest thing I have ever heard. By that reasoning, any supervillain, criminal, murderer, and lowlife who happens to be human and from Earth should be allowed to run rampant no matter how many die in the process.
And we are not to engage in any kind of combat. And that concludes our collection of artifacts, ranging from empty casings, from beam particles to old tank engines from World War II.
Yeah, okay, that's cool, but can we talk about this war thing now?
Excuse my hot-headed friend, but the sooner we can compromise on the end of your attack on the Bialians, hundreds, if not thousands of lives could be saved.
Well, my brave friends, I think we should make one thing clear before we move on. It technically may have been us that started this conflict, but it was because, as I'm sure all of you know, the Alter Party broke the deal with us and we had to respond.
With all due respect, Mr. President, it was you that ordered these attacks.
And I'm pretty sure you have the ability to stop this siege. I'm not the type of guy that likes bullies, and I'm not the kind either when we have innocent people on the line as well.
Let me take you through history, Thor. The English have ruled what is present-day Sumerian Bilalia in all of Eastern Africa. During the 20th century, the British gathered its independence and split into several nations. Sumerians were always just rebellious during the colonial times. We were given the land with precious metals buried underneath, while our country was given the land prone to droughts and poor soil. Over time, Sumeria became more prosperous due to the fruitful mining industry, while our nation was left with nothing but starvation and poverty. Recently, with this new discovery of precious metals, we the Sumerians to give us some of the profits, since part of it was under our land, but they refused. They are the perpetrators of this conflict.
I understand the hardships on your people as you are reacting in the cause of the suffering of your people, but could you not go to the United Nations for deliberation and to solve your problem with the Sumerians?
Get what solved? The UN and the other first world nations do not care for us Africans unless it involves warfare. They leave our lands to be exploited and do nothing to stop it or help us whenever we need help with our problems. Why should I stop the assault because of their innocents are dying even though ours have? It is apparent to me that you heroes are not allowed to partake in this war back at us no matter what the circumstances. So unless you want to take a stand and show the world that there's no strength of any of you.
Wait, you can't just continue this and expect us not to do anything.
And because how much money me and my administration put into the water purification and construction of paved roads and highways, we have spent barely nothing on defense, leaving us completely at full force of any invading army.
I comprehend the severity of your problem, but it was, as I have, your blunder of not sharing the amalgam profits with the Bialians.
We are not superheroes, but we only fight for order and justice, not between two nations over resources. You can end this fight if you would just sign a treaty saying you will give some profits to the Bialians.
Yes, I understand this, but the Bialians have slowly acquired old shield and arrogance weaponry from the Black Mask over the years. We never prepared for warfare. That's why I plead heroes to join this war on our side and stop the aggressors.
I'm sorry, but we can't interfere in geopolitical affairs.
We are not superheroes, but we only fight for order and justice, not between two nations over resources. You can end this fight if you would just sign a treaty saying you will give some profits to the Bialians.
And what's the difference between this war and saving a cat out of a tree? Are our people not in danger? What if a nation decided to attack the Mercuria and decided all the temples, or go to Atlantis and raise it to the bedrock? Would you not defend them then? Well, isn't this funny? The world's greatest detective can't take a hint.
Or maybe I just don't want to sit on the sidelines while innocent people die.
Bruce, this is idiotic. You're all acting like criminals.
Criminals? How? When? By doing our jobs? How can we be criminals when our duty suggests saving the lives of innocent people?
When do we start out to be criminals? For me, it all started when a kid was walking with his parents in a dark alleyway, only for them to be gunned down. Why the hell did that happen? Where's the justice or reason for that? That day, I learned that the world is only safe if you force it to be that way. Every single person here has experienced that. Their call to action. Whether it be a man in a spaceship falling to Earth and entrusting that person with a ring to protect and serve his sector. If their parents were killed and now they have to be an ambassador between the sea and the land. if they witnessed the death of a loved one and tried their whole life to find out who really did the crime. If they say their parents were killed and they were gifted with powers to stop this from happening to anyone else. Or they saw atrocities happening halfway around the world and signed up to fight against it against all odds. Let's face it, we are criminals, Clark. You and me, all of us, always have been. The only difference between us is that you're on their side. They only want us to stop because they can't control us. Because we're doing what they can't.
That doesn't matter, it's their world and their rules.
This is exactly what I was talking about. We need to be above the politics. We can't let the governments decide who the villains are.
Oh, and what exactly gives you the right to decide? What puts you above everyone else? You say you're a man of the people? Well, the people have already decided that you can't interfere.
At the same time, we don't want to make it seem like we're keeping such a tight rein on society just because we're stronger and more capable than others. It would only make us look bad.
Enough! If you're too stupid to realize your mistake, then fine, but get the hell out of our way.